Good evening, everybody. The hour being after 6:30, I'd like to call the Tuesday, November 12th, School Building Committee meeting to order. As an FYI, this is a hybrid meeting. Any members of the public that would like to ask a question could email mmortali@walpole.k12.ma.us or middleschoolproject@walpole.k12.ma.us. Our next order of business is approval of meeting minutes. Do we have any questions or comments about the minutes? Hearing none, I take a motion to approve the meeting minutes.
So moved.
I have a motion from Mr. Krakis. Do we have any seconds?
Second.
I have a second from Dr. Kenny. Let me poll the committee. Mr. Friscia,
Yes.
is Mr. Barrett here?
Yes, and yes, thanks.
Very good. Dr. Kenny,
Yes.
Ms. Gallivan,
Yes.
Ms. Gaositz, are you here? Take that as a no. Dr. Goff,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Krakis,
Yes.
is Jeff Fisher here? And I know Jack Fisher is not here. Ms. Ruggiero,
Yes.
Dr. Hahn,
Yes.
is Mr. Senek here? Nope. And I vote yes, it is a vote. Our next order of business is the project status update. Kate, over to you.
I'll pass this along to Fontaine.
Yep, thanks, Kate. So this photo here is actually a drone photo from the ribbon cutting ceremony. So you can see all the paving is complete. That kind of the bottom of the screen there, that's the new teacher parking area that we were able to turn over. So everything is in the permanent condition at this point as far as traffic patterns and everything, drop off, pick up. This is a photo from the ribbon cutting. It was a great success, a lot of smiling faces. So it was really good to see and great time. And then a photo on the left here is kind of standing out in that parking lot looking towards the main entry. It's your main entry plaza right there. I think the kids wait out there for the buses. And then on the right there, bike rack. It's actually a very hot commodity at the school. A lot of bikers. This photo here is the slope basically down from that parking area to the fields. So we were working that slope. We actually got a good amount of that seeded today. So we'll kind of work out to the south of the site and then out the bus exit road that we had there. This is that area that used to be the bus exit road. So there's a little bit of drainage and swales that go in there, some site lighting, and then that goes back to the walking path that it was before. And kind of just big picture look ahead. That orange area that you see highlighted, that's kind of, we're working our way out the site and out towards East Street there. So towards the end of the month here, we'll be wrapping up kind of whatever we can do before it gets cold, and then might be back in the spring for some minor landscaping touch up and things of that nature.
Any questions on the look ahead?
Actually, yeah, I've got a question about that orange area. We're going to return it so that it's not going to be paved, it's just going to be a walking path, is that correct?
It will be a paved walking path. So it's not going to be the road that it was that we had turned it into for construction. It'll be narrowed down to, I think, a 4-foot wide walking path.
Okay, I guess I'm wondering, what's the thinking for that? I know that when we were up there for the ribbon cutting, both Jen and I were trying to remember, and we were thinking if we want to increase parking, one way of doing it is to not return it to a parking path, but to keep it as is. So what's the thinking on that?
Basically, the way it was designed in order to meet the CONCOM requirements, we had to limit the amount of impervious pavement on the site. So the final design was with the walking path and not for that roadway. The roadway was only a temporary condition, and we were allowed to do that as a temporary condition, but it wasn't designed for, the roadway that was put in was temporary, all the compaction stuff was not done to the proper specifications if it was gonna remain. And we'd also have to put more drainage in and swales and other sports stuff in order to meet Concom, and we'd have to go back and get their approval to keep that as a roadway.
Okay, thank you.
Nancy, I would add as well that that wasn't in the original plan. Fontaine had requested that in their assessment of what traffic needed, how to accommodate the traffic, so that we vote on that as a temporary condition. Aside from whatever conservation wants, we had voted on it as temporary.
I kind of remembered that too, Mark. It came up when we were thinking about wanting to add parking. I understand it. I'm good.
Next, Kate?
So we have vetted the Google Doc, just so everybody, to get everybody familiar with it. When we opened the building, we created a Google form for teachers, staff, to input any questions, concerns that they had when they first moved into the new building. Some of them were IT related, FF&E related. Some were, the custodians could take care of them. Some were items noted in their room that we just wanted to confirm made it to the punch list. So we fully vetted that form, and that has resulted in this final FF&E request for the school. So this is kind of a high level look at it. The custodial request was for $2,374. There has been a request for a lift in the new building to maintain the building. That's $17,000. Additional miscellaneous furniture requests that have come in, $52,417. I'd like to note that a lot of this stuff is items that are already in the building. It's just buying a few more for classrooms, just to make sure there's room for expansion in the future. And I'd also like to note that TAI and Stafora, the furniture consultant, have gone through all of these additional requests and confirmed that the furniture will actually fit in the rooms. And the rooms are able to hold all a few additional pieces that go in each of them. And then miscellaneous additional equipment request was $21,021. So our subtotal right now is $92,812. We're still working to confirm shipping and install on some of these. So we'd like to give ourselves a little bit of padding, but we're looking for a not to exceed approval tonight from the building committee of $97,000 to process our last furniture request.
Thanks, Kate. Any questions?
Ms.
Krakis, yep.
Is there someone that kind of reviews these requests and says, yes? Is there a committee? Is there a group? Is there an individual that has a sense of the true need for these things?
Yeah, so these are needs. So the request initially went on the Google Docs form. It was vetted with the principal along with department chairs to see if there were actual needs or just requests. And we had like 4 or 5 meetings where we went through this. It was also vetted by the architects and their consultants to make sure that these were actual items that would fit in the rooms and not have to go into storage, and were going to be usable and also fulfill the teachers' needs. So there were quite a few meetings to go through each one of these requests. And like I said, it's a lot of one-offs. It's not, I think the biggest thing is adding a individual table into all of the classrooms for more flexibility. That was really the one piece of furniture that's going in all the classrooms, is one additional table in each one of the classrooms. But it was, order 5 additional student desks just to make sure that there's a little bit of flexibility in the future if needed. Student chairs, additional student podiums, some overhead storage. So there were a lot of one-offs in this, but there was a process.
Perfect. So it sounds like the list was reviewed, people kind of vetted it, understood the need for it, and signed off on it.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you, Kate.
Kate, could I ask a question as well? Are we putting tables in the faculty bathrooms?
They have already been ordered. They're little tiny, like small tables. Those are already ordered and the custodians are putting them together. So those should be going in momentarily.
So they're not going to reach the $5,000 line item we had for that, are we? Are they?
Oh, no, they're way under that.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you. Anybody else, questions or comments?
Yeah, I've got two, actually. I'm not sure whether you're up to this yet, but am I correct that our total budget that we're spending on furniture and equipment is in the $4.6 million range? I'm looking at the VE list that you gave us, and I think I'm reading that correctly. Is that right?
That is for technology and for furniture. And if you
Yes.
remember, all of the flat panels in this project during design were pushed into the technology package, which is why that is also larger. But yes, you're reading that correctly.
Okay. And then what are we left with in contingency? On that same slide, I'm looking at, there's no more owner's project contingency line. It all seems to be in the construction contingency line. Is that what we're left with? The 4 million, a little over $4 million?
Yeah, so if I'll switch over to our PCO log, which is where we're tracking all these final projections. So if you remember, we have a few holds in here, some plugs that we think there's going to be some money coming back from the GMP back to the construction contingency. But then also, yes, we have no more owner's contingency, but we are drawing from the construction contingency. So the last PCO log you saw, there was a placeholder for 200,000 as a projection for this last order. And I've broken out what has been approved. So last month we approved 20 for 97,000, which still leaves 79,220 under where we thought we were going to be. So with all these, which includes the field work and the paving roadway scope, this kind of has everything projected out. We would have 638,000 with the big chunk for the field and sidewalk scope. But currently, yes, we have the 4 million in contingency.
Okay, I'm trying to understand that line, Kate, about contingencies. Like, it had 4.7 in construction contingency and 1.7 in owner's project contingency.
Yep.
But where did the owner's project contingency go?
So there were budget transfers from owner's contingency up to other line items. So like when we had if you look at the furnishings line item, I don't have the budget up here, but our initial furnishings budget was 1.6 million. And we have transferred 958,000 to date up to that line item because we went in with a lighter furnishings budget. So some of that money was moved up from the project contingency up. If you look at the VIP, I can send you the pages in the back of the vendor invoice package that show all the budget revision requests that have been done. And that has all these individual line items.
Okay, should we be concerned that we don't have an owner's project contingency at this point?
No, it's standard. At this point in the project, it's standard. If you remember, we went in, usually we only go in with 1% of construction costs for the owner's contingency, and the construction contingency is higher than that. So it's very standard to run out of the owner's contingency and then dip into the construction contingency at this phase of a project.
Okay, and one last question. You mentioned the fields and the road work. We haven't decided anything about that yet, is that correct?
Correct. What was approved previously is moving to move the design forward for the field.
Yeah.
So right now, the architect's working on the design, and we're having programming meetings. And we're going to bring those documents up to the construction document phase and then get a real number on how much it would actually cost to get that work done. But yes, it's currently in design. That is all that's been approved.
Okay, thank you.
Next, Kate?
So did we get a vote for the not
No.
to exceed?
Pardon me, we have not a vote. Any final questions or comments? Hearing none, I would take a motion to vote the additional FF&E line item.
Motion to approve?
Right, I have a motion from Dr. Goff. Do we have a second?
Second?
Second from Ms. Gallivan. Let me poll the committee. Mr. Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Barrett?
Yes.
Dr. Kenny?
Yes.
Ms. Gallivan?
Yes.
Dr. Goff?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Krakis?
Yes.
Ms. Ruggiero?
Yes.
Dr. Hahn?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Did I miss anybody? All right, next, Katie. Kate is the item number 6, to review and vote TAI Add Service.
Yeah, so this whole process with additional furniture has, the consultant has gone above and beyond for it. So initially, when the consultant was brought on board under TAP, they were kind of assuming the original furniture budget is where their fee was initially derived from. And I think at this point, with our final request that has come in and all the work they've done, they're asking for an additional $8,800 for all the additional work they have put into the furniture package, which I think is more than reasonable. And this is a line item that would hit we have some money in the A&E line items above. So this would not be coming out of contingency. We have somewhere in the budget to put that. So we're looking for an approval for $8,800 for all the additional work that TAP and their consultant has done on putting the furniture package together.
Thanks, Kate. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, I would take a motion to approve the TAI Add Service.
So moved.
I have a motion, I'm drawing a blank here, from Dr. Kenny. Do we have a second?
Second.
I have a motion. Is that Mr. Barrett or Dr.
No, it's
Hahn?
Bill Hahn.
All right,
Bill Hahn.
very good. A second from Dr. Hahn. Let me poll the committee. Mr. Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Barrett?
Yes.
Dr. Kenny?
Yes.
Ms. Gallivan?
Yes.
Dr. Goff?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Krakis?
Yes.
Ms. Ruggiero?
Yes.
Dr. Hahn?
Yes.
I vote yes. Did I miss anybody? Oh, next, Kate, item number 7, vendor invoice package.
So the October vendor invoice package, we have a lot of items in here. A lot of them are furniture invoices that were kind of broken up into small pieces. And then we have a few technology invoices and then a few irrigation invoices. So we worked with Parks to restore the irrigation that was underneath a big soil stockpile. So you'll see these invoices. There are a lot of small invoices in here, billed to other project costs like the Site 1 and Taylor Rental and a few more, but there's a significant amount of invoices. And then the standard TAP and Vertex Fontaine's rec for $1,628,000, which brings them to 96% complete with their contract. So we are looking for an approval of the October vendor invoice package in the amount of $2,981,760.
Thanks, Kate. Do we have any questions?
Have all the items been reviewed by the design team, Kate, and signed off on?
Yes, all of the invoices are reviewed by the consultant and signed off on, and all the technology invoices are reviewed by the technology consultant and signed off on. So everything has been reviewed and approved.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Any questions or comments? Hearing none, I would take a motion to approve the vendor invoice package for October.
So moved.
I have a motion from Mr. Krakis. Do we have a second?
Second?
Second from, is that Ms. Gallivan?
Yeah.
All right, second from Ms. Gallivan. Let me poll the committee. Mr. Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Barrett,
Yes.
Dr. Kenny,
Yes.
Ms. Gallivan,
Yes.
Dr. Goff,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Krakis,
Yes.
Ms. Ruggiero,
Yes.
Dr. Hahn,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Did I miss anybody? Very good. Next, Kate?
Nothing really to update in terms of MSBA communications. They were out for the ribbon cutting, and thinking about our little note here, once the MSBA is reimbursed the district up to 95% of the estimated grant, the MSBA will place the remaining payments to the district on hold. We're currently just under 87%. So nothing else about from the MSBA to update on.
All right, does anybody have any final questions or comments?
Yes. So Fontaine's work will end at the end of the month, or as the weather gets too cold for them to continue doing site work? Is that true?
So our contract runs out through spring of '25 with the anticipation that we will need to return for landscaping work based on losing the warm weather this fall.
Yeah, got it.
So we're with you guys right through next spring. I think it's May 25 our contract runs through.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you.
Anybody else? Questions or comments? So Kate, do you have a slide for our next meeting, or next meetings?
Yeah, so I have laid out some dates for 2025. So I've drafted them and put them in the presentation. The next meeting is scheduled for December 10th. I would like to move the meeting time to 6 p.m. from 6:30. That would be a hybrid meeting. I was wondering if anyone had any objections to moving this meeting to 6 o'clock.
Anybody have any questions about that? Nope, don't hear any. Any final questions? Hearing none, I would take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I have a motion from Ms. Gallivan. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Dr. Kenny. Let me poll the committee. Mr. Friscia,
Yes.
Mr. Barrett,
Yes.
Dr. Kenny,
Yes.
Ms. Gallivan,
Yes.
Dr. Goff,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Krakis,
Yes.
Ms. Ruggiero,
Yes.
Dr. Hahn,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Did I miss anybody? It is a vote. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Yeah.